conversation with Jan Klier, a post-finishing artist. And before I get to him, I want to actually show some of his work. So with his permission, I asked his permission to do this. So I want to, this is his website. So I want to show you what he has done. Great, great. So let's get back to our presentation. Let me turn on my video and also ask Jan to turn his. Great. Jan, good to
Yes.
good to see you again. Hi, how are you?
My pleasure. Good to be here.
Great. So let me make sure that everybody can see your video. It looks like it's working great. Okay. So thank you again for joining. Could you give us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and I know you're in New York, and how the environment is there, particularly with the pandemic and everything.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, I'm based in Metro New York. I work as a DP, so in the camo department, as well as I run an entire post-finishing small boutique studio here. And so I get involved in edit, color, sound, and all of the post finishing steps. And you've seen a little bit of my work there. And so last year, in fact, I was interested in adding a QC solution. And so Venera was actually on my radar for a while. And so we finally got that set up. And I've been quite happy for the last 6 months in doing my QC with Quasar in the cloud.
Great, great. So just curious, production has started in New York again, I guess?
Yes, we definitely see a little bit on production, like in-person productions, I should say. I mean, remote productions have always continued, and a lot of the work that I've done in the last 6 months has been remote productions here from my studio. We've essentially run large conferences that used to be in person for tech companies. We have done award shows, all that kind of stuff, and it's all been remote, but it definitely has picked up where, you know, some interview and corporate filming and smaller, you know, commercial jobs are happening again. Now, of course, it's a fluid situation, as everybody that watches the news knows.
Right. So what made you decide to do your own QC?
Well, it's really two things. One thing is where I work, it's a super fast-paced environment. I mean, for example, you know, we record speakers, we edit it, and then like 2 days later, we have to air that out. And so there isn't always time to do a detailed watch through everything and catch everything in person, even though I do have, you know, reference monitors and waveforms and all of that here. It's just a fast-paced environment. And so I like, as I like to provide a better product, I like to have the ability to run my own QC as a last mile sanity check. In fact, actually earlier this week, we streamed something out. I ran QC on all of the assets. And for some reason, one of the transcoding steps added a 1 pixel black border left on right of the image. You know, Quasar caught it, and I fixed it before we streamed that out. Great. So it's really that extra comfort level. And I do have clients that say, you know, they know that I'm running QC. So it puts them at ease that, you know, what they're getting from me has been QC'd, so they don't necessarily have to worry about it. So it's a different, you know, I don't deliver to Netflix and those big houses that run their own QC. So it's less actually about me making sure that I don't get the bounce back, but it's really me working with like mid-tier clients and making sure that I deliver a quality product.
Great, great. I'm curious. I talked about the two choices of Pulsar pay-per-use for on-premise and Quasar in the cloud. Of course, a lot of people are moving to the cloud, so that's really a lot of emphasis there. But from your perspective, when we originally talked, we talked about both options, and you ended up choosing Quasar. What was your thinking? Why did you decide to go with Quasar rather than Pulsar pay-per-use?
Well, it's two components. Number one is I do a lot of work in the cloud. So I already have cloud workflows. I use cloud storage on AWS for a lot of my workflows. Cloud is natural to me. The second thing is I do have a small operation here, so there isn't necessarily separate equipment there that's just sitting there to do to QC, and I'm in a mixed Windows and Mac environment, and I'm not a big fan of having to run a Windows emulation on a Mac and all of that. It's just a lot of complexity. And so by being able to use Quasar in the cloud, I mean, I can upload a batch of files and start that running while I'm already on to the next step, and I'm not blocking any system from doing things. I don't have to worry about is like, am I doing this currently on a Windows machine or on a Mac? Or not. It just keeps it simple.
Great, great. And what's your, I guess, your feedback to those who are looking at potentially doing their own QC? Do you see any downside to it? Do you see any advantages of cloud versus PPU for others who may or may not have the bandwidth that you have, for example?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate that I have gigabit fiber, and so uploading something to the cloud is not a big issue for me. I mean, I think it really depends on, what your hardware setup is and what your network connection is and all of those elements, what suits you better. So I think just pick, if you have a lot of Windows systems sitting around and you just rather want it locally, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you're used to cloud processes, then it's easy. I mean, one of the nice things is I'll upload my stuff anyways to the cloud as just in terms of, I mean, I actually the assets that I'm delivering will get uploaded to the cloud anyway. And so if I already do that and then just point Quasar at it to say, okay, run the QC, it's not a separate upload process. I mean, one of the things that I don't think you actually highlighted as much is you're not actually uploading that file into a AWS bucket that's owned by Venera. You're actually uploading it into your own AWS bucket and then pointing Quasar at it. So, if you're already uploading the asset anyway, you don't have to upload twice. So it's already sitting there. And so that's actually a nice efficiency.
Great, great. You're right. So yeah, that's a very good point. I appreciate you pointing that out, that the buckets are your own buckets. So wherever your content is, Quasar can connect to it and run the jobs. I appreciate your time. I really like that you're using. Obviously, we're very happy that you're using Quasar and seem to be happy with its use. And I wish you the best of luck. I hope the production picks up. I hope the work picks up. And for everybody's sake, I hope everybody stays safe and healthy. Again, thank you so much for your time, spending time with us.